You are in the middle of your day. Not at home, not in a quiet room, not with 15 minutes to spare. A conversation just went wrong, or a number appeared on a screen that contradicted the assumption, or nothing dramatic happened at all, and the state simply slipped away like warmth leaving a room with the window left open. You need to come back. Not tonight, now. You have 60 seconds. That is enough. The method has 2 steps. The first takes 10 seconds. The second takes 50. Together they are 60. And when both are understood correctly, 60 is not an approximation. It is the actual time required. But before I give them to you, I need to draw one distinction, because without it, the method will not make sense. And with it, everything about why returning has felt so hard will suddenly become clear. There is a difference between reconstructing the state and returning to it. Reconstruction is what you do when you have no prior relationship to a place. You build it from scratch, assemble the materials, arrange the pieces, step back and assess whether what you have built resembles what you intended. It takes time. It requires conditions. It demands effort. And effort, as you already know, is the signature of someone who does not yet believe they have arrived. Return is what you do when you have been somewhere before. You do not rebuild it. You recognize it. You look back toward where you were, and the looking is the coming back. No assembly required, no conditions, no effort beyond the willingness to reorient. The state was never gone. You simply looked away. Looking back takes as long as looking away did. I know why it has felt harder than that every time you have tried. Because you have been using reconstruction tools for a recovery problem. And that mismatch is what makes every midday attempt feel like failure. Using reconstruction tools for a return problem is like using a hammer to turn a screw. The tool is not wrong. It is mismatched to the task. The state is not rubble. It is intact. What has happened is not destruction. It is misdirection. Your attention moved toward the contradicting evidence and away from the assumption. The assumption is still there, fully formed, exactly as you left it. The effort required to return is proportional to how far you believe you have fallen. If you believe you have fallen far, the recovery will feel like climbing. If you understand that the only thing that changed was the direction of your attention, the recovery takes exactly as long as it takes to change the direction of your attention, which is 60 seconds. Here is how. Step 1, 10 seconds. Ask one question and answer it from inside before anything else happens. Who am I? Not philosophically. Right now, in this moment, in the middle of whatever the day has brought, who are you assuming yourself to be? Not who you want to be, not who you are trying to become. Who you are at the level of the settled, unargued assumption the subconscious is currently operating from. Answer from the fulfilled identity. Not dramatically, not with force or the manufactured certainty of someone trying to believe something. With the quiet matter-of-factness of someone for whom the assumption is simply already true. I am someone for whom this is already worked out. I am someone to whom this belongs. I am not the person the contradicting evidence is describing. I am the person the assumption has always described. And the assumption has not changed simply because the evidence presented something inconsistent with it. I know what happens when you answer, and it feels hollow, like you said the right words but nothing landed. The answer does not need to feel full to be correct. It needs to be spoken from the right place, from inside the identity, not addressed to it from outside. The feeling follows the position. It does not precede it. Speak the answer from inside, quietly, as fact. That is 10 seconds. Move immediately to the second step, because the second step is what confirms the first one worked. Step 2, 50 seconds. 1 unremarkable thought from the fulfilled identity. Not a thought about the desire, not a thought about whether the method is working, a thought that the version of you who has already arrived would think naturally about some other aspect of life entirely. Here is what that looks like in the body. The financially free person, standing in a kitchen on an everyday evening, not thinking about money at all, deciding with complete ease what to order for the table tonight. Not because they are performing ease, because ease is simply who they are. The desire has receded so completely into the background of their identity that their mind has moved on to other things, ordinary things, unremarkable things, things that have nothing to do with what they once wanted, because what they once wanted has simply become who they are. Find that thought, one of those thoughts. Let it arise from the identity, the first step re-established, not manufactured, not performed, simply the natural outflow of a self that has stopped managing the desire and started living from it. I know what happens if nothing arises. If you wait, and only more awareness of the desire and the gap comes back. If nothing arises, the first step was not complete. Come back to the question. Answer it again, more quietly, less addressed, more inhabited. The unremarkable thought will come when the identity has been genuinely reoccupied, not when you are waiting for it to arrive from outside. You are not waiting for a thought. You are becoming the person from whom that thought arises naturally. When you are that person, even briefly, the thought speaks on its own. 60 seconds sounds too simple. When that objection arrives, notice it. It is the reconstruction mind asserting itself. Do not answer it. Ask the question instead. Because the objection, the belief that recovery requires more effort, more time, more conditions than this, is not an honest assessment of what the law requires. It is the old assumption protecting its position. It is the identity that occupied this consciousness before the new one arrived, insisting that the new one is too fragile to be trusted with something this quick and this simple. The new assumption is not fragile. It is a state, and all states exist, fully intact, waiting to be reoccupied. You do not rebuild what has never been destroyed. The difficulty of returning has never been a function of how far you fell. It has always been a function of how far you believed you fell. Change the belief about the distance, and the distance disappears. Which is what the question does in 10 seconds, which is what the thought confirms in 50, which is 60 seconds, exactly. Use this today. Not tonight in the formal practice. Today, in the middle of the day, the next time the attention is moved toward the contradiction and away from the assumption. Ask the question. Answer it from inside. Let the thought arise. The state was never gone. You simply looked away. And looking back, when you know how, takes no longer than this.